Stained, sanded, stained, sanded. These things have gone through their paces. Not as many paces as I had originally hoped. So we're going to see what we can do here. Put you over here so we can have a chat. Over the last couple of days, I didn't film any of it just because it was just going to be more tedious sanding and just sped up music montagey stuff, which I do a lot of. So this time I thought I'd just skip it all together and come to the panels being done. I did make 5 panels, but we used one already, and I'll show you what we used it for. We didn't make the frame with it. I made a place to actually hang my jackets in the shop off of one panel, just because I really wanted to test the rigidity of these panels. The panel that we used was a lot thicker. It was made out of pallet wood from the pallets I made the bench out of, and so we had a bunch of that left over, and it's really white, and it's not really farm used pallets, so it wasn't something I was really worried about, but it actually turned out almost better than these ones. But I'll bring you over and show you. You can see it hanging on the wall over there, right beside the door, and we'll just drag you over there and take a look. All right, so I made this guy pretty quickly over the weekend, quicker than I expected I could, and I'm really happy with it for what it is. So I did a couple of things that I kind of wish that I recorded for this project because they were new things, and I try to record all the things that I do that's new. However, you can see that I made the rasp hooks again, but the top isn't hooked like we made the other rasp hooks. I just we put holes in the top and put screws in. Now the two I just drilled holes in, which is fine, but this one I drifted the hole in, so you can see there's a little bit of difference. There's a little concave. I didn't do a good job at flattening it back out after the hole was there, but I thought it gave it a little bit more detail to it. And so as much as I like the clean look of these ones, but I also really like the worked look of this one. These horseshoes I just cleaned up as nicely as possible, and then used those copper nails. I think gives it a nice, good look to it. Those are copper horseshoe nails, and they're pretty sturdy. I should be able to hang a jacket on here. Nothing too heavy. I'm not going to hang like weights or bags of anything on there. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like there's lots of hooks on here, and the reason why there's lots of hooks is because I was experimenting with making hooks, and and then these are horseshoe nails. These are silver horseshoe nails, but they would have turned out the same if I used the copper ones. But the copper ones aren't fully copper nails. They're copper coated steel nails. But these nails are the same type of nail. They're just not copper coated. And I used 2 pairs of needle nose pliers just to bend the curls and the hooks into them. And then I heated up the ends of it and flattened them. And then I put actually finishing nails into there. And I've already screwed it on, or else I'd show you the back. But we just bent the nails over and flattened them out and put them into the wood, so it looks kind of nice on the back. But yeah, this is a solid guy. I mean, it's great for jackets, so I don't need it right now. But yeah, we can hang whatever the heck we want off there to come in and out of the thing. So I'm pretty sure that our winter bag can hang on there too when we're back in the winter and we need to bring the glues and the paints and the batteries inside. But yeah, this little guy is pretty good, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I'm upset that I didn't record any of building this guy. But you can see the wood grain really popped out, and I used the darkest wood stain that I had. Which one was it? This Kona dark stain. It's the darkest one I have. Before we were using the American walnut stain, which can get pretty dark, which I made a mistake on the panels, and I'll show you that. But this guy turned out beautifully, and I kind of wish I would have used one of the other panels for this instead, because I like this panel. So even though the pallet wood that I chose to make this out of wasn't the farm used pallet wood, it still turned out pretty good and could pass as such. So there we go. Yeah, so that's one project that we did this week that we just didn't get any filming of done. So we'll just move on and get some more done. All right. So, but now that we got the panels done, we're going to actually look at layout. Now, there is a couple of mistakes that I've made this week. Again, I didn't film a lot this week. It's already Thursday again, and I know that the last video we started on the Thursday as well. I have been in the shop, working in the shop. It's just I haven't been doing anything that I thought was worth filming except for that, and I didn't actually think that was going to be worth filming until I was almost done it. So I figured, hey, I'll just bring you guys to show you just what we're going for. So we got the stains down, and I asked Courtney what she liked the most. And when I had all 5 panels down there, she liked that one and this gray one. So the one that I'm going to make for me and Courtney is going to be out of this gray one. I'm not a huge fan of the gray myself, but she seemed to like it. I think staining the gray and staining the American walnut takes a lot more preparation, and I can still see it still looks wet in the seams here of this American walnut, but everything else looks dry. It's not wet, so I don't know what happened, but I'll see what I can do to clean it up, or I'll just cover it with whatever we're putting on here. It's only in this little section here and this little section here. The rest of it seems fine. The back of it's beautiful, but that's the back of it, unfortunately. This is the wedge-shaped ones. This is the ones with the big differences in the height of the boards. This one is the really thin one. So we're going to be very careful when we're making whatever we're putting on this one. And then this one is just a kind of a regular guy. It's got a couple of boards, different thicknesses, which is nice, but nothing major. And I can't decide. I think this guy's going to have to be on the bottom. We'll see. We'll see. I have an idea. I know what I want this one to look like. And then we got this guy, which I think the two-tone kind of worked out for us. If you remember when we were building these, we had there was 2 different types of boards left that we chose for this offset panel. And I didn't do a lot of preparation on the edges. I just kind of made them a little even, but you can see here that they don't match up. And that's by design. But I like the whole lighter board, darker board, lighter board, darker board that we got going on here. It's not as prevalent in the back, but it's there. But I like that. It gives us more of a been there, done that kind of feel to this board. So I like this board, and I like this board the most. This American walnut, I made a mistake, like I was alluding to earlier. This American walnut should have been sanded and stained one more time, and I think same with the gray. These 2 came out just this way with 1 coat. With 1 sanding, 1 coat. These ones, because if you remember, this stain is the one I used on the 6-foot flower box, and it didn't look like this when we were done. Now, to be fair, that was made out of very, like the higher end cedar boards that I'd bought, as opposed to the pine panel, but I think I could have gotten it closer to what it should have looked like. But we're going to use this one as is anyway. I could take the time to sand these 2 and restain, but I'm not going to. So we're going to just use them as is. Remember, these are our prototype boards. We're not going to do anything with this one. This one's going to have mine and Courtney's horses in it, and then we're going to find some horseshoes to clean up, and we're going to find patterns to use on these things. So let's figure that out. Just before we do that, I bought a cleaning stick for sandpaper, which I had in my pocket. So put that over with the sandpaper here. And then I think that one's that one, that one's that one. Okay, good. I got these little placards, plates. They're name plates. Now, I don't think I'm going to be doing a lot of this because they're fairly expensive. But I'll show them to you. These ones are blank. I just got blank ones, and they have wood screws. And so we're going to use that. We're going to actually try to get the Potters and Giggles ones done today. So this is the name of my horse, Potter. It's the horse that we got. That is quite the reflection. Woo-wee. Anyway, so that's the name of the horse that I got last year. And then this is Courtney's pony, or small ass horse. it's a fairly regular size horse. It's just anything under a certain height is considered a pony. That's all. Anyway, she's got a Welsh pony, so she actually fully but her name is Giggles. And these are the placards we're going to use, or the name plates that we're going to use for this this guy. Now, the idea behind these things is to put used horseshoes on it, and use authentic stuff. However, Potter doesn't have any used horseshoes. He is currently wearing his first set of horseshoes that we've ever put on him. I don't know about his past, because he's 16 years old and we've only got him last year, so I don't know if he wore shoes in the past or not, and if he did, it's not shoes I can access. And so normally I would have used one of his old shoes to make this project happen. However, he doesn't have old shoes, so we're going to use new shoes for this project. And then we will make a better version of this project for Potter and Giggles once we actually replace his first set of shoes. So then it will be his first set of shoes ever on one of these boards, which is actually pretty cool. And I think we're only going to use one shoe of each of the horses for something this size. I may make the next one bigger for these two horses. But Giggles obviously needs to probably go on top here. And then so the process here, I thought would be something along the lines like this. And so they're named beside their shoe. And then we attach the shoe in, and then we could slide pictures in there. Now, this is how I kind of want this one to look. I haven't decided on whether I actually want to put a border on this at all. And if I do, what do I want to make it out of? That kind of thing. I don't know if any of them are going to get borders. I like the panels the way they are. I like that they're not uniform. There's no exact measurement to these. It's beautiful. I like them just the way they are. And so this is how I want this. I am going to try to find a branding kit, or maybe get a brand, because I'd love to put wood brands in these. But again, I would have to have done that before we did the stain, I think. Well, there's a bunch of stuff that I should have done before we did the staining, but I jumped the gun. So one of the things I have to talk about is when we are, what was I going to grab? I was going to grab something. I can't remember. Hang on. So when we are actually going to put the horseshoes on the boards, these new horseshoes, the clips aren't curved, so they're straight up and down, which is actually really good for us. But the clips, I think, need to fit into the board at least halfway, because I think that much space, if we just leave the clips on the board and we just leave them with this much space, let's see if I get it straight, right? Then we could potentially put a thicker board in there and then the picture is held up against it. But if we put thinner board in there, then it will just kind of be rattling around. And I don't know if I like that or not. So we might do one of each with the clips on top and the clips sunk in. If the clips are sunk in, I can't just pound them in, or else it's going to break these boards. And so I'm going to have to maybe pull out the Dremel and cut ever so gently, cut the notches into the wood exactly where we want the shoes to be. And so my thought process here is that we cut blocks, like little blocks for the bottom of the horseshoe and right above where the nail holes are. Because we don't want to do anything above the nail holes, like up here. the horseshoe comes in too much. So we won't be able to slide anything in. So we might put a block here and then a block just in between those last two nail holes or something like that. So then it's still just a cup that doesn't have any inward bend to it. So we can just slide stuff into it. But yeah, so that's, and then I realized that we probably should have done the layout for each one of these boards before we did the staining. Because then I could have added the blocks, glued the blocks to the board itself, dremeled the holes, got all of that sorted, then put it together afterwards. I didn't think that through, and so now we're going to have to play backwards. But this is the process. This is the process of making these that I think is going to take a little bit longer. So the boot rack we talked about doing this week might have to get pushed again. Might not. I don't know. Maybe we'll play around with it later, either today or tomorrow. Actually, coming to the shop for the couple hours in the morning last Friday before we did the editing was actually pretty good. So we might do a little bit more of that. But for now, we're gonna dig out and clean up some horseshoes. So I'm just gonna skip that for a little bit probably, and then we're gonna come back with our ideas. Actually, just before we go, hang on. I had bought this thin board here. It's too thin, I think, actually. It's a very, very thin board, and this is what I was going to cut the template for the picture to sit in out of this thin board. I think it's still going to do that, but I don't have a bandsaw, so I'm going to be very, very careful. I might have to use the reciprocating saw, or, I mean, I don't know. I don't have a bandsaw. I just don't have one, and so it's really hard to get a specific shape. And then I have to figure out how I'm going to get the specific shape onto the board from the shoe. I'm not good at this, so this is something we're going to have to, yeah. Once I have a basic shape of this cutout, we can file it or sand it or grinder it down to make it work. But again, let's just get the templates out, and then this guy will be used to be the backer of the photos, which I think will be fine because it's fine. And then if this board doesn't work, we'll find another board. We got plenty of options. But again, I'm wondering if we did all the setup first, this would have been the same color as what we're putting it in. Or we could have used, if we would have figured out how we were going to do this first, we could have used regular pine boards as the, but we'd still need a bandsaw for there to rip them in half because they're too thick as they are. Anyway. So I'm going to try to figure out a good layout for these guys. There's only two more name tags or nameplates on this. And one of them is silver. And then one of them is squared off, but it's still the brass color. So these ones, I don't know if you can see from there, but they have like the rounded edge. This one is a squared edge, right? And then this one is just a silver. I don't know what's going on in the back of this, but it's just a great silver one. She only sent me brass screws though, so I might just put silver screws in it. But I figured the silver one might actually go really good on this guy, and then the brass maybe on the dark one because it would just wash out there. So, and then this one just has nothing. And then, yeah, I was thinking about burning the word like memories or in memory, right? And then the horseshoes and then the placard at the bottom. I think that actually sounds great, but I don't have a way of putting the word memory on here unless I spray paint it on, but I'm worried about bleed. So we can test that out. I can go print out like a paper template and then test it on another board and really work on my my spray painting skills. But yeah, if I if I had a bandsaw, I could probably just cut the word out. But again, I want to actually brand the wood, so we're going to really look at getting a branding kit, a wood branding kit, a wood burning kit of some sort. So the plan for that one was the words up top, the horseshoes two in the middle, and then there. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll be back with the full layout and how we want to do things, and then we're going to experiment and hopefully not break any of these boards. And then yeah, we can bust out this Dremel and see if we can get the clips sunk into these boards a little bit before we start hammering the nails in. All right, and we'll see you in a second. Okay, so I've picked out kind of how I want this layout to look. We're going to obviously make a little bit more decisions as we're laying it out. I have this my first hook here that I tried making out of a horseshoe. I tried heating up the whole hook and then curling it around on the anvil. I am not that talented. I cannot soft hit with that hammer. But I thought I'd just show you guys that as opposed to the hooks that are on there that I used the needle nose plier for and then hammered it out. So I did the same thing on this guy, but this is just a terrible hook. But I'm going to keep it forever as my first horseshoe hook. So as I was going through these horseshoes, I've noticed it on the bench over there. So I'm like, oh, I should point that out. Anyway, so this is pretty much the layout that we have here. Obviously, we saw the Giggles and Potter one that we like. I haven't decided if that one's going to get a border or not yet. Out of all of these, if any of them get a border, it's going to be that one. Just because I want to maybe play around with there being a border, but I don't know what color of border I would put on there. I'd assume black would be the best. But yeah, I really don't like this. I think I'm going to turn it upside down so more of this is covered. Let me do that right now, actually. Because this bald spot is driving me nuts. And I did double stain this, and this bald spot just won't go away. So I think what if we cover that with Potter's shoe there? Put Potter up there. Because Potter's shoe's bigger, and then Giggles here. Potter there. There we go. There's no way that people think that it goes this way, right? I don't think so. We'll see. We'll see. Anyway, that's better. Anyway, so if we do put a border on this one, or on any of them, it would be this one. But we'll see how that comes out. This one, I showed you that we would put the two shoes and then a word on the top of this one. I like that idea. And then we were going to use one of the plaques for this one. And then I'm just wondering if we use... So now that will wash that out too. This silver one just kind of gets washed out there, but it doesn't matter. I have a feeling nobody's ever going to choose a silver one. But we're going to use the silver or whatever nails on the silver one as well. And then for this one, it's just a set of 4 shoes. So some horses wear all 4 shoes. So this will be an example of if you want to use all 4 shoes and then have 4 photo frames for your frame. And these ones have no clips on them, which is one thing I want to try to do. Some of them, these two are going to have their clips on, and I'm going to try to sink them in and see how that goes. These two are not going to have clips. These guys have clips right now. I'm going to grind them off because some horseshoes just don't have clips, and some people may not want the clips on there because it might look a little bit different. But these ones don't have clips at all already, and so it'll give me an idea on the distance I need to raise it up before I nail them in. So these are the 4 horseshoes. For that, they're all size 0 horseshoes, and so they're smaller horseshoes. There are smaller horseshoes than the size 0, but size 0, this is a size 0, this is a size 2. I don't know about these ones. These ones look like 4s and those ones look like 3s, but I'm not 100% sure. But I'm going to take some time I'm going to clean them up, and then I'm going to spray them down with the clear coat, the rust protectant. Because even though these ones are straight from the store that Courtney gets them from, Courtney sometimes does make her own shoes, but she likes to buy them and reshape them herself sometimes. So that's why I got these ones. They're still prone to rust if they get wet or anything like that. So I'm going to rust proof them because you can see that some of these are rusty. So I'm going to clean all the rust off. Which I got to find a better way to do many shoes. This is going to take a while just to clean off these eight shoes. So I'm going to try to do some of them quick, some of them fast and dirty. Apparently, if you use vinegar and soak them in vinegar for 24 hours, that'll work. But I don't have 24 hours, so I'm going to put the manpower into it now on the wire wheel. And I think these two here, instead of getting the clear coat, they're going to get a black coat of rust paint. So then we can have the contrasty black. Or do I put black on that one? I don't know. One of these boards is going to get black, so people can see what their shoes look like if they turn black. All right. So the shoes are looking good. They're looking pretty damn good, I must say so myself. We have come up with a couple of plans. I went out and I shopped and we watched the baseball game. So we got a couple of plans. I got some pictures printed for the frame. I'll show you those later. And then I picked up these like stickers, transfer stickers, decorative transfer stickers. They're literally just block letters. It's not what I had in mind, but to get the point across on here, while I figure out how to actually burn it in and or paint it on, I think those will do fine just to write on here. I think they're about the right size, so we're just going to go with it. We're going to actually just stick stickers to this guy. And at least for the photos and stuff like that, we'll get the point across, right? So there's that. And then the whole getting the clips, putting the clips into the board, I think I'm going to egg snake completely. Just because one of the things I like when I first thought of doing these was the fact that the clips were going to be part of the thing that holds the shoe off the board, so you can put stuff behind it. We're going to leave the clips as is, and I'm going to either you just use this guy I measured, or we're going to make something. We might just use this guy, sand him down on both sides a little bit, and then we're going to maybe fashion him into like a T shape. He fits in between the clips of this guy, which is pretty cool, and then we can just slide him in kind of like this. So we would slide him in underneath the shoe because he's skinny enough for the clips to poke out, right? And then we would nail everything down that we can and then slide them back out and then finish off what we were looking for. We still need to figure out what we're going to permanently put underneath this. We don't need to do anything specifically. It's more along the front, but we can't do anything on the front. So we have to figure out how we're going to, I think I'm just going to cut a block and put it there and just let it hang out there. Um, just so it gives it a little bit more support. As people like pull things and pull things and push things in out of the top, it's going to put pressure on the bottom. I don't need all the nails bending because horseshoe nails, though, are strong enough to hold horseshoes to things. They do not have really good bendy strength, if that's what you're coming with. But anyway, so this board does not really work on every shoe. Well, it works on this guy pretty good. But I was thinking about just cutting it into a T shape, so then there's less surface area that we have to struggle with later. And so I'll probably sand this guy down, cut it into the shape I want it to, and then we'll use this guy to help us get all the boards nailed down. Now, one of the things I need to do also is figure out how to get these boards up in the air while I nail through them, but also have something underneath them that's structurally sound enough that the boards don't they break and crack and stuff, because I'm nailing just on one side of the board. So I've been trying to hum and haw about that. So anyway, one of the other things that I made over the last couple of days, I forgot to show earlier, and I forgot to show you guys everything I make. This guy is literally just a mounting block. They didn't have one for the outdoor arena for the riders, and so they asked me to make a mounting block. And so I just threw this together with the leftover cedar boards that we had, and it looks pretty good. I'm not going to paint it, I'm not going to sand it, I'm not going to do any of that kind of stuff, because it's literally just going to sit in dirt, and people are going to put muddy boots and stuff all over it. It's just for them to step up onto their horses. And so we made that guy. I think that guy took me 25 minutes to make it. It wasn't terrible. They seemed to like it. I brought it back in here because I added some boards to the back, because there was a hole in the back, but people were afraid horses were going to step in it. So I added some boards to the back, and I'm going to bring it back out today or tomorrow. Right now, we have to figure out how we're going to make the inserts for the shoes. So, like, we could just leave it like it is, attach the shoes, and then people can figure out how to attach their own stuff in there. But I think that's kind of a poopy way of doing it. And I think that if we're going to say it's a picture frame, then we should have a stencil or a template for them to be able to put their picture on. And so that's why I printed the pictures as well, so then I can do it the first time so I know it's a thing. But anyway, so I attached this paper to this one shoe here. I was experimenting, and then I was like, oh, I should probably turn the camera on. So that's why this all happened here. So I stuck this paper to the horseshoe, and then I put the horseshoe nails through it, so I knew where the nail holes were, because it can't go past the nail holes, because or it won't fit. And then I made this stencil, and then from this stencil, I did a rough. Oh my God! I should have taken everything off of here. This little tiny horseshoe is great for me helping with the stencil. Anyway, remember I said there was shoes smaller than a size 0. There's, like, they call them aughts, and so there's double aught and triple aught. This is an 8 times aught shoe. So this is 8 zeros. So yeah, anyway, we have a couple of them. I don't know if we'll ever use them for anything, but there you go. It was good for helping me with the stencil. So anyway, so then I traced it onto this board here. I don't know if you can see that with the light. There you go. So I traced it onto there, and then I'm going to cut that out, and then I'm going to sand it down and make it look finished. And then we're going to hopefully, after everything's said and done, it will just slide behind the shoe and sit there. And then the picture can be rested up against it, attached to it. I don't care what people do with their picture after. I'm thinking the next time I make these around, though, I will use a thicker board, so then it fills up more of the behind the shoe. So let's see what we can do here. Try number 1. Take 1. so turning is going to be a problem. I think that shaky thing I didn't want to happen. Okay. Whew. Shoosh. This is why I want a bandsaw. Maybe. Still shaking everywhere. Oh, that's not going to work. I have to come back this way. Excuse me. Pardon me. All right, well, this is in the way. Oh, that's there. I don't have a saw for this. Oh, that works. All right. So we got it cut out, kinda. So it's a little bit rough, but I think it will fit. I wonder how close it is to the stencil. It's not terribly off. It's a little smaller, which is good, I think. So, and then just slide it in there. Oh, seems to work. If I put it right at the end, all of the holes are showing. That's awesome. That's one down for this one, and then we got to do a small one there. Leave a little extra coming off the end. I'll show you. So we're going to trace it like that. So we have the lines going on the inside of the shoe nails, and then we're going to bring it all the way down to the end of the shoe and around to the other nail. But we're going to do that with the little horseshoe to help us out. So we're going to do this side here. All right. This one's a little more rough than the first one, I think because I rushed it. So I took a chip out of the one side, but we can use the other side. Once we sand it down a little bit, it should slide right in. Looks pretty good from that side. And if we're putting it right to the nails, it's going to be a little bit of a gap at the top, which I think is fine. We can even like round off these corners a little bit so that they're just not as pokey. The technical term is pokey. Yeah. So that good. Same thing on that one. Okay. I swept the whole shop this afternoon too. Oops. Should get an air compressor so I can just blow everything off. That'd be nice, eh? I don't think we have to worry about it being as good as possible. I don't want it scratching the thing though, but if we do this, then we have this line up kind of where we want it to be. That would have been beneficial to make sure that the top of this T thing was straight. And then we put the nails in. So they're bam on the side, and then we just slide this guy out. Like a boss. This one. Left-handed, like a boss. Let's get these off of here. I'm trying to see if these end up. Ooh. Oh no. Shit. Pardon my French. So that one split the board underneath. We're going to just keep going with it. It was right, unfortunately the nail was right where the boards meet up. And this one split it too. Okay, but they're through. I think I can manage. We'll see, we'll see. Let's not give up just yet. Really, really upset that it split. But again, this is the type of wood we're working with. Like I don't think any of the other ones will split. I think it's just where we had the nails go in. I'm wondering in the future if I just drill a tiny pilot hole for these things. If it's going to be really close to the edge here. Let's drive a couple more nails in, and we'll see. Okay, so the shoe twisted while I did it. But more or less, we have what we're looking for here. I'm just going to get rid of this. So I'll show you nice and close up. Maybe I put glue on the back and just stain the front. Anyway, so this is what we're looking for. So you can see here, this is where the board split, right? 2 times. One of them is split right into the glue, so it's fine. And then the other one split the board straight up. And so I'm going to have to figure out how to prevent that in the future. I think it might be the board, or it might be the force I used. I don't know. But either way, oh, I forgot to test. And then we want this guy just to slide in here, just like that. How beautiful is that? It's exactly what we wanted. That's awesome. A couple of these nails are a little higher than I want them to be. So I'm wondering if I throw some extra stain in the crack there, but I also throw some glue on the back just to kind of hold everything together, which we probably will do, but we can do the other shoe. Maybe we should do this part of the build now. So we're going to cut the sharp tips off and then bend them back into the board nice and flush. And then hopefully if I can bend them over the cracks here and there, that it will work. So anyway, so it looks really good this way. I think that looks great. The nails are protruding a bit. I'll show you. The nails are protruding a bit, but I think that adds to its character. The only thing I have a problem with is I feel like the front of this shoe might just go if the nails bend. So I don't know. I don't know if I need to put something under the shoe though. This is what I had envisioned when I first thought about making these, was this kind of floating shoe. So, and then I just really want to get some stain in that crack there. The other ones are not so bad on the front. So we're gluing everything on the back. Oh no. Oh, that's really bad. This board right here just split. It's just loose. I don't know what to do there. It's not big enough for me to glue, and I could just snap the board off right now if I wanted to. That sucks. That was the thin board though. We knew that could happen. But I thought we were in the clear. Let's put some glue in it, I guess. Scrape that one out too. Whoa, things are just coming apart on me here. I don't know if the glue will sink in there though. Okay. Let's see what you guys think. I think it's pretty good. I think where the name plates are is a little weird, but I'm not sure yet. So this is where they're going to be. If we end up putting a border on this thing, which now more than ever am I thinking that's a good idea since all of the boards have been splitting along the edges. If I tack on just a makeshift border that's just going to give it a little depth so it looks like more like a box, that will That'll give it a little more structure. So, but anyway, so the last thing that we need to do is for this frame. We still have the other 3 to go, but get some pictures cut out and put in there. I don't have scissors, and so I'm not going to do that way. I'm going to actually use the X-Acto knife, I think, to do it. Ugh. This is too funny. It's the longest drawn out part. No progress is being made 90% of the time. Come on, come on. Yeah. All right. Let me take this guy. Moment of truth for you guys, eh? Wow. So Potter and Giggles. I know you guys haven't seen them before. This is a little blurry. This is a picture I had from her for a while ago. And this one was when we first kind of got Potter his new rain sheet. So he had this big orange rain sheet, and then he had his Batman mask on. So, yeah, that's the Potter and Giggles. I'll show you what Potter looks like actually. Not all covered up actually. He got a couple of dopey pictures of him on here, but like he's like, I don't know why. He's just not photogenic here. So this is him just in his paddock. This is like the day we brought him home last year. This was him today. I went and got a couple pictures of him just so I can throw more in the frames if I wanted to. So anyway, I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to put some time into getting the templates done for the other frames. I've noticed that the slight issue here is that, again, we probably need thicker templates boards, just because we should probably want the picture to be kind of up against like that. But for now, this will be fine. Once I figure out the thickness of the board I want in here, then we'll just buy that. It's not going to be all the same, but we'll and that will eliminate that. Ha ha! That will eliminate the movement of the shoe if it starts moving. Anyway, so yeah. So there we go. One of them is done. The one that I wanted to do for me is done. And then those ones will get done hopefully by the end of this video. I'm going to put some time into making those things, clean it up a little bit, and then hopefully by the next time I turn the camera back on, we'll have some pretty good progress into the other picture frames. Now that we see how one is done, let me get the other ones done, and then we'll compare them all together when they're done. Hello. So we've made quite a bit of progress over the last little bit here, and we've finished the shoes on each of the boards, and so what's next now is to just do the final touches. So this is the last one I did. Looking pretty dang good. I like it. I opted to put dabs of super glue. Oh, thunder. I've opted to put dabs of super glue and whatnot where the nails are, like between the nail and the shoe, and then again on the back, just for an added little security measure. I don't think they're going anywhere, even though shoes without clips, like this one doesn't have any clips. I angled the nails to put them in, and so it's giving just that little bit of friction to keep the shoe up in the air. But just as an added precaution, we did that. So we cut all the templates so they fit in. All of the ones over here, you can't see them at the moment, but I'm going to pull them all up here in a second. Anyway, all right, so the next part here then is going to be putting the string, the fasteners on the back. And I'm really worried about this because some of these are pretty hefty. So I'll bring the other ones here. So we got the dark wood one with the plaque on the top. That one came out really nice. Again, the back is looking pretty okay. And so, yeah, some of these nails are protruding quite a bit more than others, and that's just because of the nature of the shoe. I should have used smaller nails here, but I didn't have them. We're going to be getting smaller shoes or smaller nails for the smaller shoes in future projects. This is just good for the pictures and the idea. The only problem around with this one. This was the one I was worried about, if you remember, because it's the thinnest one, and I was afraid it was going to crack and everything like the gray one did, but nothing cracked. The drilling the pilot holes and all that kind of stuff really worked out for us. And then we got this one, and Courtney came in because originally this silver plaque was going to go on the memories board, but she said you should put the silver plaque with the one that you use silver nails on and the black shoes, and that's going to make it pop. Which I think is completely true. She really nailed that idea, and so I'm happy that we did that. And again, the slide out things are just, everything's looking really good. I really like this one. The matte black came out really, really well on this on this one. Unfortunately, that the copper screws are still, like, I didn't have silver screws for this one. So next time I go to that place where I got them from, I'll ask for the silver screws if I get silver plates. But unfortunately, I tried to grind away a little bit of the brass or whatever, but they're like brass always through. So unfortunately, but they're a little lighter than the other ones, which is really good. And then we got the ones you guys already know about. The broken one, the one that we started with, which I'm really happy that we started with it, and it continues to just go strong. Courtney really liked it, so I'm really happy with that. The only thing I don't like now with all of these is that the inserts that hold the pictures, I would like the pictures to be up against the shoe better. And I don't like, and so I thought maybe I'll just make the inserts out of thicker board. And then I had an epiphany. What if I just put a piece of little foam, just one little rectangle of foam, and slide it behind there just to slightly hold it for us. So we're not banging things in and hanging it out there to have a whole snug fit. And then I realized I had this. I can't remember what we unpackaged. I think it may have been one of the vacuums, but this will be perfect to cut little things out of that we can use to put behind the things. Like some of it's gonna be a little thick on sides, but it's gonna be really easy to cut into thinner pieces and that kind of stuff. We just want it to be a snug fit, and so I'm probably gonna, in the future, I'm probably not gonna do it for these ones, but in the future, get some of this foamy stuff and cut it up and put it in underneath. The ends of this is perfect. The stuff in the middle is gonna be a little bit more difficult, but we have glue, so that's what we're going to use this for. I knew I saved it for a reason. I didn't just throw it out. I hate styrofoam. It's disgusting and it feels gross. But that stuff is great. So, and I know it's bad for the environment, so let's reuse it. Okay, so now we're going to start with the Potter and Giggles. Giggles and Potter, Potter and Giggles. And we're gonna try to put a string on there. Now I don't know exactly how I wanted to do this. We don't want to put the we don't want to put the horseshoes on the ground, so, or on the surface of the working surface. So we're going to do a little bit of this just to make it so we can actually get in there. So I got these little eyelets, screw eyes, right there. And we got the 30-pound string. I think that's overkill. I think 30-pound string is way overkill, so I think we'll go to 20-pound string after these are done. Oops. Let's put that back in Oh, even the period's spaced weird. We did it wrong everywhere. Anyway, there we go. It is what it is. We're going to make it good enough. Again, this is just something as a placeholder. I think this whole pack was $6, and I'm sure we'll find use for it somewhere else. Make sure I bring Courtney her scissors back. She'll kill me. Okay, so memories. It's IES, right? So there we go. I just want to make sure that I spelled it correctly. If I spelled it incorrectly, it's because I was just too caught up with how everything else should be. But very happy with how these have turned out. So just know that if I end up making a bunch more of these, it's just people have asked me to, and that's the point. When I first wanted to make the shop happen, this was the first project I envisioned doing in a shop, was making these particular things. And there's obviously many different ways of doing it. I've already thought of 2 more ways of doing this. And I'm going to probably bang one out tomorrow. Maybe not on video, just try to bang one out. Like, I'm just going to get the stain ready. It's going to be a one panel. I can actually show you before I do it. So I have these extra cedar panels or boards from when I was doing the other projects. And then so I wanted to, these are the leftover from the garbage box, and then I used some of it on here. But anyway, I want to make a long one, so it's probably about this high with one horseshoe, and then I want to be able to have like a ribbon, like a show ribbon on here as well. So we'll have a hook there so the show ribbon could go on there. And then we can put Potter in there. Like, maybe we'll even make it close to this big because the ribbons are fairly long. And then a horseshoe, right? And then a little name plate, which I think would be pretty awesome. So that's what I'm going to probably slap together while I'm editing this video, actually. So, because it takes a while to upload and download and all that kind of stuff. So I should probably cut this short so I can get to it. It's already, well, if the video doesn't come out until Saturday, that's my fault, because it's already pretty late on the Friday. Yeah. Anyway, so we got the coat rack hooks for the shop. We got a mounting block for the outdoor arena, and we finished 4 of the picture frames. So I'm pretty happy with this week. I'm really hoping to get more into this as time goes, but summer is really hard and winter is cold. So we'll figure it out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.